Hey, hey, we're set for Cubs baseball on Comcast Sportsnet. The refurbished statue of the great Jack Brickhouse in downtown Chicago. The Cubs are back on the north side for an 8-game homestand starting tonight, the first of 3 against the Florida Marlins. Hi again, everyone. Bob Brenly and Len Casper with you. We hope to dodge the rain tonight, but the Cubs are happy to be back home after a 1-5 trip. Be nice to see this team get back to where it was at the end of the last homestand.
Yeah, they started to get on a little bit of a roll that last homestand. Now, granted, the wind was blowing out, and we know how reliant the Cubs' offense is on the long ball. They hit 8 of them in their last 3 games back here at the friendly confines. Hopefully they can pick up right where they left off.
Cubs a game over at home, and you see well under on the road, and it's lefty night here at the ballpark. Ted Lilly for the Cubs.
Yeah, well, hopefully we'll see a little more velocity out of Ted Lilly. It's not the most important thing in his game, but he needs to have a little more fastball in order to set up his off-speed pitches. See what he did last time out against the Pirates. Not one of his better outings.
When you think of Nate Robertson, most people think of him as a Tiger. Believe it or not, his original team was the Marlins. They just got him at the end of March.
Robertson's actually had 2 very good starts this year. The other 3 just so-so. Hopefully we'll catch him on a so-so night.
And you have 2 teams kind of inconsistent with their offenses. Hopefully, again, the Cubs can get more consistent here at home, and it'll be the Wrigley Field debut of one Starlin Castro, who had a great weekend at Cincinnati. The Cubs looking for some home cooking here in the friendly confines.
Everywhere. AT&T. See what's new from AT&T. Visit att.com for details. And by Southwest Airlines. Visit southwest.com. Grab your bag. It's on.
Well, overcast and cool and hopefully dry. Starlin Castro got a haircut. Ready to make his Wrigley debut. Last time we saw him in pinstripes was in spring training in Mesa. Well, he was working out with Ryan Theriot and Alan Trammell on some defensive drills about 4 hours ago. And there were a good 7 or 8 cameras and 15 or 20 reporters watching from in front of the Cubs dugout.
Now with that new haircut, it looks like his hat's a little big right now.
Let's get the Florida Marlins Southwest starting lineup written out by their manager, Freddie Gonzalez. Chris Coughlin, more on him later, but he was the Rookie of the Year last year, maybe the sophomore slump. Gabby Sanchez plays first. Hanley Ramirez won the batting title last year. We know Jorge Cantu could come up with some big hits. Ugla plays second. Ronnie Paulino just murders lefties. Ross, Carroll, and Robertson at the bottom.
Take a look at the Florida Marlins defensively, brought to you by Jimmy John. Soriano in left, Bird in center, Xavier Nady getting a start in right field against the left-handed starter. Ramirez and Castro will be on the left side of the infield, while Terrio and Lee will man the right side. Giovanni Soto doing the catching tonight for left-hander Ted Lilly. Talked briefly in the open about Teddy trying to get a little more arm strength, a little more velocity on that fastball, and as I mentioned, that's not really his strength, overpowering opposing hitters, but you need to have enough fastball to make them respect it, so that makes your curveball, your slider, and your changeup much better.
The umpires, Bill Miller will work the plate. Chad Fairchild at first, Mike Riley, the crew chief, at second, and Eric Cooper. When he makes a good call or a bad call, they can just say, "Cool."
I think Eric Cooper's been behind the plate for at least a couple of no-hitters. Mark Burley's
both of his.
Yeah.
The no-no and the perfect game for Burley. Dallas Braden, perfection yesterday against Tampa Bay in Oakland. We might see Dallas Braden here at Wrigley Field during interleague play. Lilly against Coghlan, who had his first 3-hit game of the season yesterday, and he lays down a bunt, snaking along the line, and rolls foul. Coghlan is over 200 for the first time since April 9th. We'll get it out of the way right now. They do not have a home run from a left-handed hitter all season. Coghlan does not have an extra base hit. And in talking to the Marlins broadcasters who see this team every day, Bob, there are some similarities between these teams in terms of their struggles.
Yeah, it sounds like both teams have enjoyed some good starting pitching, some shaky bullpen, inconsistent offense, inability to consistently score runs. So, yeah, a lot of similarities, and the records are very close.
Oh, 2 on Coghlan. Here's a pitch. Up and in. 1-2. The weather, 51 degrees as we get started. And the wind is blowing in out of the east at 10. And there is rain in the forecast. One report was 7 o'clock. We made it through that okay. The other one was midnight. So I'll take that one.
Yeah.
Midnight rain would be fine.
And the wind has turned around since batting practice. It was blowing from the right field corner to the left field corner, but it's kind of swirling around at times, blowing straight in, definitely blowing in from right.
On the ground and glancing off Derek Lee's glove. Terrio to Lilly.
Nice.
That'll go 3-4-1. Nice job, Ryan Terrio, to stay with it, and Ted Lilly as well.
A similar play in Cincinnati when Joey Votto deflected it to second baseman Brandon Phillips, and he threw on to the pitcher covering first base. The key to the play is for the pitcher to continue, and Ted Lilly never gave up on the play. Got over there in good shape to cover just ahead of a sliding Chris Coghlan.
Here's Gabby Sanchez, Miami native, playing for his hometown team. Ball 1. Both teams under 500. The Cubs are 14-18. The Marlins are 14-17. And both teams have lost 5 of 6. Outside. Ted 1-4 in his career against the Marlins, but the one win was a gem. That was last May 2nd of 2009. A 6-1 win, 8 innings, 1 run, no walks, 10 strikeouts. With the short sleeves on this cool night. And a pop up on the 2-2. Nady comes in. Two away, and that'll bring up Hanley Ramirez. And sometimes it just depends on when you catch teams and certain individual players. Hanley Ramirez heating up. Got an excellent month of May. Tied for the major league lead this month with 5 home runs. He's hitting .387 in May. High fly to left. If the wind's blowing out, that'll probably hit Cleveland, but not the case tonight. Soriano the catch, and the Cubs are coming up against lefty Nate Robertson. Terrio, Bird, and Lee at the top. Good numbers for Marlin against tonight's Marlins starter. Marlin against a Marlin.
There you go.
Nady, Ramirez, Soriano in the middle. Soto, Castro, Lilly at the bottom.
Bird playing against the Fish. Let's take a look at the Marlins defensively. Brought to you by Jimmy John's. Chris Coughlin in left. Cody Ross in center. Brett Carroll over in right field. Jorge Cantu at third. Hanley Ramirez at short. Dan Uggla at second base. Gabby Sanchez over at first. Ronnie Paulino will be behind the plate today for left-hander Nate Roberts.
Well, that Ivy looks good.
Yeah, it does.
Really near mid-May. I'm going to guess, I should have asked Coy Hill, that Nate Robertson was a college teammate of the Cubs' backup catcher. Ramirez throws out Terrio. Robertson was a 5th-round pick of the Marlins out of Wichita State in 1999. Coy Hill was drafted the following year out of Wichita State, where he played third base. So just go with it at this point. We'll confirm tomorrow.
Fellow Shockers.
Yeah. It's a strike on Marlon Bird. Ronnie Paulino with the interesting, almost all gray catcher's gear. It blends into his uniform as you check it out from our center field camera. Got a nice target there in the chest. It's the only dark part of the entire chest protector.
Paulino off to a good start defensively this year. He's thrown out 7 of 12 attempted base stealers. That's 58%. This is a guy that's been 26% throughout his career, but pitchers must be doing a better job of holding the runners, giving him a better opportunity.
Well, Bird struck out, but prior to today's game, Edward Jones representative Andy Meinhardt presented the Edward Jones Player of the Month Award to Marlin for his outstanding play in April. Edward Jones making sense of investing.
And as usual, Marlin sprinted out from the dugout to get the award and then sprinted back.
Derek Lee hits a slow chopper charged by Cantu, and that's a quick 5-pitch first for Nate Robertson. 0-0 after 1. Second inning, that was a quick first. And these two left-handed pitchers. Jorge Cantu will lead it off. You like it when he bats with nobody on base. He had at least one hit and one RBI in each of the first 10 games of the season, which set a new record. He passed George Kelly, who did it in 8 straight to start the 1921 New York Giants campaign. In his first 17 games of the season, going back to last year, that ended up being a 21-game hitting streak. It's from an open stance, and he cranks it foul.
Well, and I had to look it up because it seems like Jorge Cantu has really beaten up on the Cubs, especially over the last couple of years. But he's only a .246 lifetime hitter with 3 home runs against the Chicago Cubs. It seems like the hits that he has had have come at very key junctures of the game.
Yeah, he had a huge series in 08 in this ballpark as he grounds out to Starlin Castro.
Who's your captain? Every month, vote for your favorite player to win the Captain Clutch Award. One voter and player will be selected each month for an award presentation on Wrigley Field. Voting is simple. Become a fan on Facebook and submit your pick. One winner will be chosen at random to represent the player with the award. Visit CaptainMorganClub.com for all the info.
Change up low and outside to second baseman Dan Uggla. Marlins have a very powerful offensive double play tandem in Uggla and Ramirez. How about this? Ramirez and Uggla have homered in the same game 20 times. That's an all-time record for double play combos. Second on the list, Rich Aurelia and Jeff Kent, 18 times. Pretty good thing they're right-handed hitters considering where they play half their games. Pretty cavernous. I think it's Sun Life Stadium it's called now. Former Joe Robbie / pro player / Dolphin / Land Shark Stadium. You have a lot more success hitting the ball to left. You want to reach the seats. In on the hands and fought off. Still 2-2 on Uggla. See, you would have been fine in Miami's ballpark. Dead pull hitter.
Yeah, I would have loved it there. What, the Teal Tower, is that what they call the scoreboard in left field?
Probably only make 2 more trips there, and their new park, retractable roof stadium on top of it, will open in 2012. Here's a 3-2 pitch. Another foul by Uggla.
And I think the effect that new stadium will have on this Marlins organization maybe a little underrated at this point. But we've talked about it in the past. When you go down to South Florida to play the Marlins, you rarely get a chance to take batting practice on the field. Rarely get a chance to take extra work, as Castro will throw out Uggla at first base for out number 2 here in the second inning. I mean, that's one thing you always used to look forward to, going back to your home ballpark to get some extra work in. Get your bench guys out there and let them take a little extra batting practice. If there's an aspect of your defense you need to work on, you can get on your field and work on it early in the afternoon at home. But you can't always do that with the open air stadium that the Marlins play in now.
And when you do, it has to be pretty draining, considering how oppressive that summer sun is. Paulino pops it up on the first pitch. Ryan Theriot makes a catch. And a nice job by Ted Lilly, getting this game off to a good start for the Cubs. In Vancouver, CSN's exclusive Game 6 coverage starts at 8 with Chevy Blackhawks pregame live. Don't miss Blackhawks Canucks Game 6 tomorrow night at 8 on Comcast Sportsnet. Fans' best friend. Everybody bundling up tonight. Actually, the warmest homestand we've had was the first one in early April.
A couple days of 80-degree weather in that first homestand. I haven't come close to that since. Looks like Xavier Nady may have clipped Ronnie Paulino with his final backswing before getting ready, and Robertson was ready to deliver the pitch.
Robertson just threw 5 pitches in the first inning, so we didn't have much of a chance to talk about how he is now a Florida Marlin. That one crunched, and it's going to get over Cody Ross. Xavier Nady on his way to second. That's a leadoff double. Just his 3rd extra base hit and his 2nd double of the year. And the Cubs have a runner in scoring position with no outs.
Well, those are the kind of hits you need tonight. The line drives to stay underneath the wind. It's kind of surprised that one carried as far as it did. You can see the jump Cody Ross got on that ball, but it shot over his head all the way to the wall, just to the right of straightaway center.
Brings up Ramirez. And he takes a pitch outside. Robertson was acquired from Detroit on March 30th. And jumped into the Marlins rotation. Won his first 2 starts. And has now lost 3 in a row. He's only gone 6 innings. Once in his 6 starts. Tapped right back to Robertson, and Nady will have to retreat to second. And Ramirez's struggles continue.
Great seats, including bleachers, are still available for tomorrow when the Cubs host these Marlins at Wrigley Field. Game time is 7:05, but be sure to arrive early. The first 10,000 fans will receive a Cubs photo frame, compliments of Kimberly Clark. Get your tickets today by calling 1-800-THE-CUBS or visiting Cubs.com.
Alfonso did not play on Sunday. It brings in an 8-game hitting streak during which he's hit .433. 8 cut and a miss. Both teams took extra BP today.
This has historically been a tough matchup for Alfonso Soriano, who saw Nate Robinson a lot over in the American League. Soriano 2 for 17 with 5 strikeouts. He does, however, have a home run among his 2 hits. Robertson will feature a fastball in the high 80s, low 90s. Low slider, a straight changeup. His last outing, he threw 1 curveball.
Paulino shifting as Robertson went into his leg kick. From the outside to the inside part of the plate.
That could be a very fine line for a catcher and a pitcher working together. Some pitchers don't like to see their catcher moving around late. They want to pick up that target and focus in on it. Other guys aren't quite as adamant about it. They just want to make sure that catcher gets to the spot where he wants the ball. And for a catcher, you don't want to move too soon because it may tip off the batter where the location of that next pitch is going to be. It moves again, outside to inside.
It's golfed into left. Nady's going to be sent by Mike Quaddy, and he'll score standing. And the Cubs score first.
Nice job by Fonzie to fight off that inside fastball right there. Got him down near the trademark a little bit, but muscled it out into shallow left field for a base hit, putting the Cubs on the board.
And a 9-game hitting streak for Soriano. Soto also got a rest yesterday. And he singles into left. 3rd hit of the inning. Here comes Starlin. Nobody was going to listen, but Lou encouraged everyone to just let the kid play. Don't expect too much. Let him relax. Throw to second for 1. Relay's going to be late. Soriano a big turnaround third. He'll hold there. It's a fielder's choice for Castro.
You got to be patient with the young man. He's going to make some rookie mistakes. He's going to make some fantastic plays. Busted down that first baseline to beat the relay. Stay out of the double play and continue the inning here for Ted Lilly. Very aggressive swinger is Starlin Castro. He will chase some bad pitches out of the zone from time to time, but the amazing thing is he seems to get the barrel of the bat on him with great regularity.
See if Ted can guide one into the outfield. A ground ball right to Ugler. Little bobble, but he's able to make the play. 3 hits, 1 run. Cubs lead 1-0 after 2. Playoffs to B-Hawks. It's 242-957. To join Blackhawks Mobile and be entered to win a pair of tickets to an upcoming Blackhawks home playoff game. That's playoffs to 242-957 for your chance to win the hottest ticket in town. Message and data rates apply. Bottom 3 in the Marlins order, starting with Cody Ross, who's playing center tonight. Mentioned the lack of lefty home run power. They're also getting very little production out of their outfielders in general, and they've got a prospect named Mike Stanton, who's going to be here at some point. And they talk about him like they have talked about Starlin Castro here, and like people in Atlanta talked about Jason Hayward. Stanton hit a home run last week, Bob, that has been estimated anywhere between 500 and 550 feet in a Double-A game. And the throw pulls Lee off the bag, and Ross is aboard. That is an error on Castro, his second in 4 games.
He gets to the ball in good shape. Grounder up the middle. Shows that range. Gets to it. Just the throw tail back toward the runner. A little bit of a sidearm delivery there. When you have that much time, you'd like to see him get up on top a little more. Have a more true line on that throw across the diamond.
Obviously, Castro has not been here long, and one of the reasons he was brought up was to help improve the overall defense. As Brett Carroll takes a strike, the Cubs have not done a good job defensively overall this season. They are 28th on the defensive efficiency list. Basically, defensive efficiency measures the ability to turn batted balls into outs. Castro to Terrio, they get 1, and that's it. Nice range into the hole, and it'll bring up the pitcher.
And not only the good range to get to that ground ball in the hole, but he got something on that off-balance throw. That was a relatively easy force play at second base. Didn't look like it was going to be that easy as the play developed. You see Castro here going to his right several steps, falling backwards as he made that throw to Terrio, right on the money that time with something on it.
Called strike on Robertson, who bats righty, even though he's a left-handed thrower. Punch through that one, 0-2.
Let's see if Robertson is still bunting here in a 2-strike count, because they have Carroll dancing all over the place over there at first base. He was almost standing on the bag at first as Ted Lilly delivered the ball home that time. Possibility of a double play here should Robertson bunt the ball hard.
Joe Espada, the third base coach. And Lilly will toss, and Terrio saved him. That was almost another throwing error on a Cubs pitcher. Ryan Terrio impersonating Derek Lee.
If you're going to cover first base, you have to pick him like Derek Lee does. About as routine as it gets for Ted Lilly. He just choked that ball into the dirt to Terrio. The difference is Derek Lee has that big first baseman's mitt that's made for picking balls out of the dirt. Ryan Terrio using that little second baseman's glove that's made for getting the ball into and out of the glove quickly.
Brings up Coghlan, who was retired on a nice 3-4-1 play to start the game. He's hit into some bad luck, too. Kind of an interesting year for the rookie of the year last year in both leagues. Most rookies are somewhat unknown. They take the league by storm, but Chris Coghlan, a small market team in the National League, and Andrew Bailey, the Oakland A's closer in the American League. For some reason, I just have a feeling 10 years down the road, 2009 is going to be a tough trivia question. You know, people remember Hanley Ramirez and Dontrell Willis and people like that. But Coghlan and Bailey. Giovanni Soto won it in 08. Derek took it by himself after faking the throw to Lilly. It's 1-0 Cubs.
at our Home Depot doing more on defense. The very first play of the game, Derek Lee deflected a grounder towards Ryan Terrio at second base, who threw on to Ted Lilly to retire the Marlins leadoff hitter. Really nice 3-4-1 put out at first base.
Center field, Ross drifting and catching. Stood there frozen at first, but had plenty of time to get back on.
I have to believe your instinct as a center fielder would be that with that wind blowing at the back of your neck the way it is, you want to come in on those fly balls, but he held his ground. Had to retreat a few steps to make the play.
The Cubs have a Marlin and a Starlin in their lineup. They're playing against the Marlins. Hanley Ramirez spins, throws, gets him.
And Ramirez, good guy for Starlin Castro to watch. Another guy with great range at shortstop and a strong throwing arm from a variety of different angles. And seems to enjoy himself out there at the shortstop position. I think Castro will get to that point. We were just talking between innings. Starlin Castro probably feels like he can't do anything right now. It's all a learning process, and after every play, whether it's a good play or a bad play, Ivan DeJesus or Alan Trammell or maybe even the skipper Lou Piniella himself are going to continue the education, tell him what he should have done. Maybe you should try to do it this way. But ultimately, Castro's the guy that has to go out there and get it done. His natural ability will carry him a long way, but the experience is going to be a gradual process.
And Nate Robertson doesn't dilly-dally. He gets it and he fires it. And Lee pops it up. Ugla backpedaling. Ramirez there just in case. And it'll be Ugla. That's a 7-pitch third for Robertson, who trails Ted Lilly and the Cubs 1-0. He's just a fan of baseball.
Yes, indeed. What a hat. Look at that.
That hat is at least 6 years old. You know how I know? There's a Montreal Expos logo on the bill.
Ah, very observant. Colombo.
See it right there? And the old Tampa Bay logo on the front. 1-1 on Gabby Sanchez. Ramirez and Cantu to follow. Pop foul back our way. So far it has held true to form in that the Marlins have struggled scoring early. Ted Lilly has kept them off the board through the first three. Fly to left for Soriano. And he makes the grab for the out. Time for the AT&T trivia question. Who was the Marlins' all-time home run leader? I guess you would say small sample size, considering their history only dates back to 1993, whereas the Cubs go back to 1876. But there are some interesting possibilities. We've had some good home run hitters and guys who had long tenures. Derek Lee, I'm pretty sure when he was traded to the Cubs, was the Marlins' all-time home run leader. I don't think he is still in the league. We'll find out. I'll tell you who it's not. Juan Pierre. He's probably the stolen base leader, but he probably hit about 4 home runs in, I think, 3 years in Florida.
Going to go out on a limb with that one, are you?
Yeah.
Okay.
Left-handed hitter in that ballpark who rarely hits home runs. Ramirez, I think it's safe to say, is the best player not enough people know about because of where he plays. He just took a called third and fortunately is 0 for 2 tonight, but he can do it all.
Ted Lilly will definitely take it. Borderline low strike that time. Sinker that started at the knees may have fallen off just a little bit, but as I said, he'll definitely take.
Cantu batting for the second time with nobody on base. Ramirez diving stop from his knees. Plenty of time. Nicely done. Ted Lilly getting help from his defense tonight as Ramirez makes it a 1-2-3 inning. 1-0 Cubs. Nady doubled to start the second and would score on the Soriano RBI single. It's the only run to this point. Off the plate inside. 1 ball, 1 strike. Roll just foul. Nate Robertson, 6'2", 225. Born in Wichita, Kansas. Called strike 3 on a fastball in her half. It's his second strikeout. Time to answer the AT&T trivia question. Marlins all-time home run leader. I'm going to go with Mike Lowell.
For some reason, Preston Wilson stuck in my mind, but you're absolutely right. Mike Lowell.
Gary Sheffield was a thought. He's on the list. So Dan Uggla just 2 behind Derek Lee, who this year hit his 100th as a Cub. Check that, his 100th at Wrigley Field earlier this year. 1-2 on Ramos. Derek and Alfonso Soriano are both nearing 300 career homers, both sitting on 297 at the moment. Another called third strike, this time Ramirez.
That's another one of those maybe bottom of the kneecap strikes, this time to Aramis Ramirez. Paulino sets up off of the outside corner, reaches down, pushes the pitch further out of the strike zone as he receives it. But Bill Miller, the home plate umpire, with a very emphatic strike 3 call.
Want to know on Soriano. And another base hit for Alfonso, his second of the night. He'll cruise into second with a 2-out double. So you painted a pretty ugly statistical picture for Soriano against Robertson, but it hasn't played out that way.
2 for 2 tonight, including this double. That's one thing about statistics, and we've joked about it in the past. It tells you what has happened in the past. It doesn't necessarily predict what's going to happen on a given night. Soriano's had a couple of good at-bats, pulled a couple pitches into left field, and in scoring position now for Giovanni Soto with 2 outs.
He was able to hold up, according to Chad Fairchild. One and one. Knocked down by Paulino. He shares time with John Baker behind the plate for Florida.
Paulino having the much better offensive year, at least up to this point, hitting .321 with a homer and 7 driven in. Baker at .233 with no homers and 6 runs driven in. As I mentioned earlier, Paulino doing an outstanding job of throwing out base runners this year.
Paulino is a perfect complement to a left-handed or a switch hitter, a left-handed hitting catcher, because of what he does against lefties. He makes for a good platoon guy. And ball 4, Soto taking yet another walk, his 23rd of the year, against just 14 strikeouts.
It looked like Nate Robertson just didn't want to give Soto anything to hit in that particular situation. Going to take his chances against the youngster Starlin Castro here with 2 outs in the inning.
I point out the walks to strikeouts In Soto's case, Bob, when he won the Rookie of the Year, he had 62 walks, 121 strikeouts. So he struck out basically every 2 times for every walk. And this year, he's walked a lot more than he's punched out. That's a really good indicator of a successful season if it continues.
And a really good indicator also of a tremendous adjustment made. Most of the time, Soto's been hitting in the 8 spot this season until Starlin Castro got here on the last road trip. And that 8 spot in the lineup, you will get your share of walks if you're patient. With that pitcher hitting behind you, teams aren't likely to give you too much good to hit if you can drive in a run.
This argument a lot with people about strikeouts. When you look at an individual's season numbers and you see a lot of strikeouts, if you also have a lot of walks, it really mitigates the punch-outs. It's when it's really stark. If you have 120 strikeouts and 28 walks, that's not a good number. Some of the great hitters in baseball strike out 100 times plus, but they also walk just about that many times. And Castro walks, so that'll get Lilly to the plate with the bases loaded. So Starlin keeps checking off all these firsts. First home run, first triple, first double, first RBI, first run, and now his first walk.
Interesting little exchange there. Giovanni Soto at second base looked back to Castro at first and basically told him, "Don't run me off." You know, a base hit to the outfield should Ted Lilly get one to the outfield here. There's a good chance Starlin Castro could catch Giovanni Soto somewhere between third base and home. So Ivan DeJesus, the first base coach, warned Castro, keep an eye on the runner in front of you. And Giovanni Soto turned around at second base and did the same thing. Keep an eye on me.
Ted kind of tried to lean in, maybe affect the call. A 1-1. Shatters his bat. And Paulino's just going to step on home plate with the force play there. Bat went a lot farther than the ball did. They leave him loaded. It's still 1-zip Cubs after 4. Cubs holding a 1-0 lead. Florida right in the middle of the pack in a lot of stats. 8th in runs, 9th in ERA. They have committed the most errors in the league. Would speak to their inconsistency all around. Well, starting pitching has not been the problem lately. Got good starts. One and two on Uggla. Some speculation that if for whatever reason Fredi Gonzalez isn't back with the Marlins after this season, and owner Jeffrey Loria already said before the season he expects his team to get to the playoffs. Speculation he could end up in Atlanta, where he once coached on Bobby Cox's staff. Cox is retiring after the season. One out here in the 5th. Pretty good mentor to have, Bobby Cox.
Yes, indeed.
It's high on Paulino.
Pretty high expectations on the part of the owner when you have one of the lowest payrolls in all of baseball. I believe they're right around $55 million this year, the Marlins total payroll.
Off the other way. Nady still coming in, has to make the basket catch.
Tickets are selling quickly, but there's still time to get great seats for May games. In particular, the next 2 games against these Marlins. Bleacher seats are still available as well. To purchase tickets, visit Cubs.com, call 1-800-THE-CUBS, or visit the Wrigley Field box office.
Cody Ross is the only Marlin to reach base. That was on a Starlin Castro error in the 3rd. I guess if that hadn't happened, we might be making a lot more Dallas Braden references. There's the 0-1 to Ross. 0-2.
Swung at an high slider that time. Giovanni Soto was out there on the outside corner expecting a backdoor breaking ball, and they threw it up there above the shoulders on the inside part of the plate. Ross couldn't lay off.
This one up as well. That's fastball at 87. A pop up by Ross. Castro looking for the ball. There it is. Ted Lilly has not given up a hit through 5 innings of work. Cubs will bat in the 5th, up 1-0. the way this game has gone, in terms of the score, we haven't seen a lot of games like this. The only one for the Cubs up to this point through 32 games was the third game of the season. They beat Atlanta 2-0. Point being, when the Cubs win, they usually score a lot more than one. And a base hit for Terrio. Still a long way to go. And Cubs try to tack on here.
Solid base hit right back past Robertson into center field. Uggla was shading a little bit up the middle of the field. That's kind of surprising, given the fact that Ryan Terrio gets most of his base hits to the right side of the infield and right field, but still able to get it by him up the middle for a base hit.
Double play ball. Ramirez is just going to step on second. It's a double play he could have turned in his sleep.
Watch the Cubs take on the Pirates this Saturday, May 15th at 12:05. Kids get to the ballpark early. The first 5,000 children 13 and younger will receive an exclusive Chicago Cubs plush bear from Build-A-Bear Workshop. Compliments of Pepsi and Aquafina.
He's trying. Love to hit one there. Halfway up in the bleachers and left.
With the wind blowing the way it is tonight, you get the feeling that if you're going to see a home run, it's going to be from left center or around to the foul pole in left. May get a slight assist from the wind if you hit one that direction.
Go back to April 27th. In the Cubs' losses, they've scored 1, 2, 5 against Arizona with the wind blowing out. They gave up 13. 2, 2, 1, 2, 3. And in their wins, 11, 7, 10, and 14. Pretty stark, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
Well, it's 1-0. A pitcher's duel tonight after 5. Facing 8, 9, and 1 in the Florida lineup. He has 1 strikeout. The only base runner, Cody Ross, reached on an error in the 3rd inning. So the Cubs have 5 hits, and the Marlins have none, as Brett Carroll took strike 1. foul pop and out of play.
Well, one thing we've seen from Ted so far in this ball game tonight, his command has been much better. Able to spot that breaking ball on both sides of the plate. He's dropped some slow curves in there for called strikes, and he's able to move his fastball in, out, up, down.
Rip foul. Joe Espada, the third base coach, just got out of the way. Robertson's been pretty good as well. Very little margin for error. And Lilly's 0-2. Castro gobbles it up. High throw, safe. So Starlin has committed 2 errors.
That was a fairly routine play that time. Ball hit fairly crisply. Just a few steps to his left. He gets to it in good shape. Nice rhythm. Just airmails the ball across the diamond to D. Lee. That's one you almost wish he throws it a little bit further up the line where you have an opportunity to tag that runner. It was just thrown high right over the base, and D. Lee couldn't get the tag down in time.
Robertson bunts. Lilly picks it up and gets it to Terrio. So Robertson with 2 sacrifices in this game. And you know, Bob, I've been talking to Alan Trammell and getting his thoughts on Starlin Castro. And the one thing Tram said yesterday, there's a lot to learn about playing shortstop at this level, but he's really trying not to overload Starlin right now. You know, just take it day by day. And as you said before, there's got to be a million things going through his head right now. And so I'm sure Alan's going to pick his spots. And I guarantee you, Tram doesn't want to tell him every little thing that goes wrong, because then the kid gets really tentative, which is the last thing you want.
And you'd like to get him up to speed yesterday. You know what I mean? You want him to learn it all quickly, but Alan Trammell is smart enough to realize that the knowledge that he has of this game, he accumulated over 20 years in the big leagues. And like you said, you just have to kind of ration it out a little bit at a time.
Down the line, fair, and the error is going to lead to a tie game, and that's their first hit of the night, as Chris Coghlan, off to a very slow start, but he's heating up, and that's his first extra base hit of the year. And now a 1-1 tie.
He slashes this ball to the opposite field, a high fastball up above the belt. And back to Castro just for a moment. The one thing you do not want to have happen is for him to start thinking about every throw he makes. He's a very natural, physically gifted athlete that does a lot of things just instinctively. And the worst thing that can happen for a guy like that is to start to think. Speaking of thinking, you might want to think about that leadoff hitter, Chris Coghlan, possibly stealing third. Ted Lilly with a big, slow delivery, didn't check him at second base, and Coghlan picks up his 4th stolen base of the season.
Hurts Gio's record, but he had no chance. The infield is in against Sanchez. So the inning started, and Ted Lilly was working on a no-hitter with a 1-0 lead. And only a couple of moments later, it's tied with the go-ahead run at third and only 1 out, and 2-0 count on Sanchez. And while you could walk him to set up a double play chance, Hanley Ramirez is on deck.
Stolen base at third really changed this inning drastically. Now you're forced to bring your infield in for the middle of the Marlins lineup.
Two and two. Be a good look for you, Bob.
Oh, I've got that.
Comfy.
Yeah.
Stylish.
Well, there have been a lot of nights up here in the booth we would have worn that.
Was able to hold up, and a full count, 3-2. The pitch, and he popped it up on a slider. A huge second out.
Just enough movement on that slider to get it off of the barrel of the bat, down near the trademark. A little lazy pop up to a drawn in infield. It was a huge pitch.
Pitch to Ramirez is a strike. Coghlan tied the game with his first double of the year. He's at third with 2 outs. Fastball in there, 0-2. Had won his first start and dropped the next 2. This is his 4th off the DL. Oh, just inside. Ooh.
Gutsy pitch right there, doubling up on fastballs on the inside part of the plate. Missed by much. That's what the reputation of throwing a lot of curveballs, a lot of breaking pitches will do. You can occasionally sneak that fastball by a really good hitter because he's looking for something off speed.
Surrounding the plate, the last 2 just missing each corner. Ramirez has not yet swung in this sequence. So it's 2-2. Again, the go-ahead run 90 feet away.
Well, he actually got away with one right there. He wanted to come back in with that same fastball that he just missed with earlier in the sequence. Left it up and out over the plate, but Ramirez was tardy with the 89-mile-an-hour fastball.
Next one, fly ball to right. Xavier Nady. And Lilly gives up the tying run, but keeps the go-ahead run at third, 1-1. started even.
Not really. We started at 0-0.
You're right. Technically, you're right. I was waiting for that. It's kind of like when you say no score in the fifth. There's a score. It's 0-0.
Yeah. I knew what you meant.
Mr. Grammer will.
Yeah.
Take his notes.
Let's see if Xavier Nady can lead off this inning the way he led off the second with that big booming double to straightaway center field. He later came around and scored on the Soriano base hit to left.
Nice run on sentence.
Oh, I'll come over and dot your eye.
Inside 2-2.
Neither pitcher getting much on that inside corner of the plate. We saw Ted Lilly just miss on a pitch to Hanley Ramirez, and that one to Xavier Nady. The same result.
It's going to hold up for Coughlin in left. Look, coming up tonight, Comcast Sportsnet presents Inside Look with Lou Piniella. Cubs skipper talks about working in the toughest sports town around, how he deals with everything from irate fans to critical media. Tune in for Inside Look with Lou Piniella tonight at 11 on Comcast Sportsnet, fans' best friend.
Good show, it really is.
I look forward to that. One and one to Aramis. This tells you how rough it's been. Not including the 0 for 2 tonight. First a 1-1. Aramis is hitting 196 over his last 14 games. That has actually improved his average. Sanchez drifting. It's going to drop. Well, I'm really surprised one of the middle infielders didn't help Sanchez when that ball started to drift on him. Ugla was closest to him. Ramirez was maybe 10 feet away. Sanchez never got close to it.
It looked like nobody wanted to catch that baseball. Straight up the elevator shaft, right in the middle of the infield. Everybody's looking at it, but nobody's really making a play on it. Looking for help right about there. That ball just continued to drift further and further away. The wind has picked up considerably, blowing in from right field, and just pushed that one right away from the Marlins first baseman.
Bob, maybe that's the base hit that gets Ramirez going.
I'll tell you, he hit a number of hard hit balls in that Cincinnati series to right center and right field, and really had nothing to show for it.
Maybe that's a little payback. Pops out of the glove of Paulino. Now Ramirez is in scoring position.
Wow. Almost looked like a pitch out. Waiting on the call.
It's a wild pitch. Pitcher's strike. 2-1. And a base hit to left. Ramirez coming around. Coughlin up with it. Throw to the plate. Offline. Soriano with 2 RBIs tonight.
Goes down and gets that ball, hooks it into left field. I was keeping a close eye on Mike Quaddy. The determining factor is usually where's the runner when that guy gets the ball. Ramirez was still about a step short of the bag at third. when Coughlin picked up that ball in left field, but Quade sent him anyway. The throw was offline far enough to allow Ramirez to score, and good base running by Soriano to get himself into scoring position.
That run will be earned. But Nate Robertson might be thinking, man, I should have had 2 outs, nobody on. Pop-up landed right behind the mound, untouched. And the Cubs took advantage. Two and one. I mentioned earlier, Nate Robertson has only gone 6 innings once all year. With that, the Marlins have some action in their bullpen. 3 and 1. Right-hander Brian Sanchez. Change up 3 and 2. And Soto was way out front. That's got to be some good arm action to get a guy that out front on a swing and a miss.
Especially on a 3-1 count. Most hitters are geared for fastball. And if a pitcher can sell that pitch with the arm action, you can get a lot of very early swings.
Kick and the 3-2. He got it. 4 strikeouts for Robertson, the last 3 of which have been of the looking variety.
Like a backdoor slider. Soto just didn't think it quite got to that outside corner, but Miller with a relatively large strike zone tonight.
He will intentionally walk Castro as Robertson almost airmailed Paulino, and they'll go after Ted Lilly instead.
Depending on how the Marlins defend against Ted Lilly, it wouldn't surprise me to see him try to put down a bunt with 2 outs in the inning. He hasn't had a lot of success swinging the bat tonight. If Cantu at third or Sanchez at first gives him a little bit of room, he may try to drop down a 2-out bunt, keep the inning going for the top of the order. Meet the Team, Have a Ball, presented by Bank of America's on Wednesday, May 26th at 2:30. Collect autographs on an authentic MLB baseball from the 2010 Cubs players and coaches in attendance. Limited tickets are available for $300 each. Proceeds benefit Chicago Cubs charities. To purchase tickets, visit Cubs.com or call 773-404-CUBS.
Ball 1 to Ted. He's put the ball in play both times. Inside corner, 1 and 2. Reds 2, Pirates 1. Last of the 8 in Pittsburgh. Bronson Arroyo gave up 1 unearned run in 7 strong innings tonight. Swing and a miss, inning over, but they get the lead for the second time. And both times courtesy of Alfonso Soriano. It's 2-1. Marlins here on the north side. Tune in as Randy Wells takes the mound and seeks redemption. Cubs Marlins tomorrow night at 7 on Comcast Sportsnet Plus. Fans' best friend. Ricky Nolasco, former Cub farmhand, against Randy Wells. And then on Wednesday afternoon, Chris Volstad and Carlos Silva, the scheduled starters. Top 7. Jorge Cantu takes it in the dirt. Catchers have been trained just to hand the ball to the umpire instead of trying to throw it back to the pitcher when it hits the dirt. If Lilly gets an out this inning, it'll be his longest outing of the season. He had previously gone 6 innings twice and 5 innings once. Old foul. Be fun to talk to Butler head men's basketball coach Brad Stevens. Took the Bulldogs all the way to the cusp of an NCAA championship. They lost by 2 points in the final to Duke. Cantu pops it up. Soto makes the catch in foul territory, 1 away.
With that wind howling in from right center field, we weren't sure if that ball was going to stay in play for Giovanni Soto back there behind the plate. Starts gliding back there. The ball is continuing to push closer and closer to that brick wall, but Gio's able to make the play.
Ugla with a base hit, perfectly placed to the left of Ramirez and to the right of Castro. Hit number 2 for Florida, both coming over the last 2 innings.
Based on his speed alone, you would say the hitter at the plate, Ronnie Paulino, a good man to turn to, but he hit so many fly balls, he doesn't ground into many double plays. Only 2 so far this season.
Deep to left, Soriano back on it. On the warning track, and it's gone. In and out of the basket, a go-ahead 2-run homer for Ronnie Paulino. I don't think the wind hurt his chances there. Right now it's blowing in from right, but I know the wind didn't help it. Well, we said it. He kills lefties. And that's a big home run.
You saw where Gio was set up on the outside corner. The pitch straight back over the inside part of the plate. Paulino, as I mentioned just a moment ago, a fly ball hitter, and got that one just into the basket in left field.
He's now 8 for 16 in his career against Ted Lilly, and that's his 2nd home run against Ted. And the Marlins lead for the first time. Bounce to third. Ramirez has to hurry, barehanded, and throws, and he didn't get him. Lou's asking what we're going to ask. Was he off the bag? Because I thought the throw beat him.
Yeah, it looked like with the naked eye the throw beat him, and it did. He's out at first base. Nice play by Ramirez with the barehanded scoop, and that was a long throw after barehanding that ball.
And as you can hear in the background, there are a lot of monitors in the ballpark as they watch our telecast on the concourse and underneath the upper deck.
One more look at it. Great barehanded pickup and throw right on the money. D. Lee with the stretch. Very close, but looked like the Cubs had it.
One strike on Brett Carroll. Cue shot the other way. Terrio will have to throw to first. Watch Comcast Sportsnet Cubs game replays on demand with Xfinity TV from Comcast. Don't miss the action. Call 1-800-XFINITY today. Cameron Maben is going to hit for Nate Robertson, who has a chance for a win tonight.
Third at bat of the season as a pinch hitter. You see his overall numbers hitting .229. He does have really good speed, however. Cubs infielders are going to have to keep that in mind on a ground ball.
Strong start for Robertson. As Carlos Zambrano's up. 6 innings, 2 runs. For the Florida lefty. A swing and a miss on a changeup. Well, yesterday it was Joey Votto with a go-ahead 3-run homer in the bottom of the 7th off Brian Dempster. And tonight, Ronnie Paulino, go-ahead 2-run shot off Ted Lilly in the top of the 7th. Hard on the ground, in the hole, and a slip by Castro, and the throw is going to be late.
That's one of those plays that we talk about with the young guy who's so physically gifted. You think you can make every play. Once the slip happens right there, he's got no chance to get the speedy Maben at first base. He probably would have been better served just to hang on to that ball, because if it does get by Derek Lee at first base, the Marlins get another run.
Maben, by the way, has made by far the most starts in center for Florida, but not in the lineup tonight. Came in just 6 for 29 against lefties, but picks up the infield single off the bench.
And they definitely have to keep an eye on him over there. 3 out of 4 in stolen base attempts this year. And with 2 outs in the inning, they may try to steal him into scoring position.
Brad Stevens getting a taste of what's becoming the curse of the 7th inning. Usually the stretch conductors come in with 1 out in the inning, and fortunately we've had a few games that have gone a little long in the top of the 7th.
This is baseball's version of the 4-corner here. We're going to stall it.
Yeah. Soto had lost the ball. It was right in front of him, but he was being blocked by the batter Coghlan. Frustrating feeling for a catcher. You know you blocked the ball. You know it's somewhere close.
But you just can't find it. You can see the batter was between Gio and the baseball. Ted Lilly hustling in from the mound just to make sure that the Marlins didn't advance.
Outside corner. A ball and 2 strikes. Got a pick off, but the throw goes to the plate. Safe. A double steal and executed perfectly by the Marlins. Lilly threw to first. Maben took off, and so did Ross from third, and he scored, beating the throw from Derek Lee.
That's a design play right there by the Marlins. The runner from third actually broke before the runner at first. Maben took off early, drawing the throw from Ted Lilly. And then Ross just snuck in the back door right here. You see Ross is sneaking down the line, anticipating that pickoff throw to first, and they timed it perfectly.
A fly ball to center. Bird is underneath, and that ends the inning. But the Marlins have the lead. It's 4-2. Stretch time.
Here's Butler basketball coach Brad Stevens.
All right, fans. Let me hear ya. A 1, a 2, a 3. Take me out to the ball game. Take me out to the crowd. Buy me some peanuts and Cracker Jacks. I don't care if I ever get back. Well, it's root for the Cubbies. If they don't win, it's a shame. For it's 1, 2, 3 strikes, you're out at the old ball game. Let's get some runs.
Field tonight. Head coach Brad Stevens got a great hand when he threw out the first pitch, and a great job on the 7th inning stretch.
You know what? The pitch wasn't near as nerve-wracking as the song. So I'm not built to sing. Yeah, I'm not built to sing. So I do hope they get more runs, though.
Well, the Cubs trail for the first time tonight. Brian Sanchez is on to work for Florida, top of the order for the Cubs. As you get a look at the numbers for Sanchez. Limited innings. Only given up 1 hit. There was a knee-high strike. Well, how do you look at the season? I mean, I guess once you get into the tournament of now 65, there's only one team that ends up totally happy, but Are you at the point now where you can feel really good about a season that came up 2 points short, but not a lot of people had you in the final?
Yeah, you feel good, but the closer you come, the more heartbreaking it is. And but I'm so proud of our guys, and I said this from the get-go with this team. The results weren't as important because of their approach was really good.
Rollover grounder as Cantu will throw across for the out. And while a lot of other people were surprised, I'm sure you were not. What did you tell your team at the beginning of the season? Did you have the big goal of, hey, we're going to go all the way? I mean, what
we said, if we committed to doing the details, that we could compete for a national championship. And we talked about that at the beginning of the year. You know, one of the things you don't want to do is limit yourself. And certainly it's something that I think our guys have, is a great deal of belief in one another, belief in a program. And it was a lot of fun to coach this group, as it has been I've been there 10 years now, and it's been that way all 10 years.
Marlon Byrd, swing and a miss. Tell us about your love of the Cubs.
Well, I think one of the things, I grew up and playing baseball, and my dad was my little league coach, and I had all kinds of fun. And being an Indiana kid, we don't have a major league baseball team in Indiana, and so certainly going to Cubs games when I was a kid and now as I've grown older is one of our fondest memories and now favorite things to do.
It's great to have you here. Did you get a chance to talk to Lou? I know you got a message from Lou. Was it during the tournament, the Final Four?
I got a note from him right after we advanced to the Final Four, and it was incredibly nice of him to do that. I didn't get a chance to talk to him tonight, but he's certainly busy, and I'm certainly just going to root for him from afar.
Bird with a base hit, and the tying run will come to the plate. Big turnaround first. He'll hold with a single.
So who were some of the coaches that maybe you kind of modeled your style after?
The guys that I had at Butler, Thad Mata, that was my first boss, Todd Licklider, that was my second, and just terrific guys to work for. I now work for our AD, was a former coach at Butler, Barry Collier. But outside of that, I would say that, you pick and choose from all over, and maybe the most impactful in the way that I try to go about my daily business has been Tony Dungy, who was right down the road with the Indianapolis Colts, and always a person that I really had a great deal of admiration and respect for.
Derek Lee is 0 for 3 on the night, and he hits it foul. Check out the ceremonial first pitch. Coach Stevens. Again, got a great hand.
Oh, that's a strike. Might be the first strike we've seen this year.
I was told to throw a knuckleball, so if it hit the dirt, it hit the dirt. That was part of the deal, but I obviously didn't go with the heater.
Well, back by Lee, 0-2. If I may, Coach, I've been around a few college basketball coaches over the course of my broadcasting career. And I say this with all due respect, most of them are certifiably nuts. The schedule's ridiculous. They're all screamers. You seem like a very down-to-earth, relaxed, normal guy. I'm sure you get a little louder in the heat of the battle, but would you say you're a little calmer than most?
My players would tell you I'm a little louder when it's just us. When there's 15 of us at practice, that's about it. But, one of the things I truly believe is, you got to be yourself. In coaching, that's as important as anything else. And if that's me, then that's what I'm going to be. And, I've got guys that'll do some of that for me, which is a good thing.
Well, I was going to say there's a little good cop, bad cop, and usually it's the head coach is a bad cop and some of the assistants are the good cop, but it sounds like it might be the other way around.
Well, we got some players that are not afraid to be the bad cop, which I really like.
Oh, sure. Derek Lee with a base hit, 2 on. Bob, I know you like to hear that. Players kind of policing themselves.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, number one, it makes your job a lot easier.
That's right.
You don't have to worry about the discipline and the effort that guys put forth in practice and during the games. And anything you can take off of your plate allows you to concentrate on the important things.
Yeah, there's no question.
Or other important things.
That's right.
Let's put it that way.
And you have to reinforce those things every day. But just like anything else, I mean, when you have the right people on board, it all goes a little bit more smoothly. And we're very fortunate to have the right people on board.
Nady coming up. 2 on with 1 out. Marlins got 3 in the top of this inning. think we're going to see Zambrano in the 8th for the Cubs. Inside on Xavier, who's already been plunked several times this season.
Keep in mind, Lou Piniella has a couple of left-handed hitters available off the bench if he would so choose to go that direction, but he's going to allow Xavier Nady to take this at bat against the righty here. Xavier's had a couple of nice at bats in this ball game, including that double the first time up. Looks like he's seeing the ball real good tonight.
It's a good curveball from Sanchez to make it 1-1. Ramirez on deck. With 9 hits, Florida has 5. Good swing, he fouled it off. Should also mention, Coach, you signed a long-term deal in early April.
Really excited to be
By the time you finish that, you'll be, what, 35?
Yeah, that's right. That's exactly right. Yeah, it's hard to think 12 years down the road. I think more in terms of my kids. I've got a 4.5-year-old, and to think he'll be driving is a little scary at that time. But we're excited. We love Indianapolis. Indianapolis has been home for a long time, and Butler's been great to us.
Could be 2. They get 1. They get 2. Really close at first base. Coach Brad Stevens, congratulations on a great year, and good luck coming up.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Fan's best friend.
Well, the umpires normally get it right, and in this case they did. Very close on the relay throw.
Kind of a disjointed double play turn at second base, but by the slightest of margins, it looked like they did get Xavier Nady at first base.
Carlos Zambrano is in, facing Gabby Sanchez. Ted Lilly went 7 innings, gave up 4 runs, 3 were earned in his longest outing of the season. There's a 1-1 in tight.
I'll tell you, and even though the Cubs trail in this ball game, I personally was very encouraged by Ted Lilly's outing tonight. His command was much better. He did have a little more velocity on the fastball. He was spotting his off-speed pitches well. Unfortunately, Ronnie Paulino got one into the basket in left field.
Nady retires Sanchez.
Hey, Cub fans, this season it's easier than ever to find the seats you want or sell tickets to the games you can't make on StubHub, the official fan-to-fan ticket marketplace of the Chicago Cubs. You'll find great seats and great service on StubHub all season. So go to StubHub.com and choose your seats today.
Big wave at a slider by Hanley Ramirez. Lou would like to get Zambrano into the action more often than he has since he was moved to the bullpen. One of the reasons he hasn't been able to go to Z, well, there are two things. Number one, the Cubs have not had a lot of, for instance, 4-2 leads in the 8th. When they've won big lately, and they've trailed a lot late. The other thing is, early on, he didn't want to use them in back-to-back games. Well, I think that's going to start to change. And quite honestly, Bob, it has to change at some point for this thing to really work, because your 8th inning guy usually is much busier than your closer.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. Yeah, that 8th inning guy might pitch 4 or 5 days out of a week. And I think Zambrano, between the outings he has had and the side sessions that he's thrown and the few times he's warmed up in preparation to come into the game and then did not get in, I think he's probably prepared to start going back-to-back days, maybe 3 out of 4. You just hope the Cubs offensively give him some opportunities to come in and pitch in the 8th with a lead.
Clay Hensley out in the Florida pen. Ramirez needed an extra second. Castro can't get it. Boy, it's been a tough night for Starlin, and Hanley Ramirez takes an extra base. And now the crowd getting on the rookie shortstop. That'll be a quick conversation with either his manager or Alan Trammell.
And the ball's in play. You got to keep playing baseball. He makes the error right there. The ball trickles into shallow left field. Go get it.
So 3 errors. And I would say, really, Bob, there were 2 on that play. The first one and then the second one was a mental one.
Now the misplay on the backhand and then not going after the ball quickly enough, allowing Ramirez to advance on the second base.
A really tough night for Castro. We did look between innings after his second error just to see if Alan Trammell would talk to Castro. He did not. And again, I think that goes back to picking your spots. And the conversation we just alluded to might happen privately. It'll be very short and sweet, but there's no doubt the Cubs staff will let him know that that will not be tolerated. And you know what? You know he knows that right now, especially after Ramirez came sliding into second. And 2 with a base hit. Ramirez is being held at third, but he goes right through the stop sign. And he's out. Joe Espada tried to stop Ramirez, and he went right through it. And Soriano nailed him at the plate.
We haven't seen as much of that from Soriano, not because he can't throw guys out anymore, because nobody runs on him anymore. You'll clearly see the Marlins third base coach throw up the stop sign. Hanley Ramirez ignores it completely and gets what he deserves. Out at home plate. Well, Soriano plays that educated fade on his throws. He always has a little bit of tail back to the right, but he starts the ball toward the middle of the infield and puts it right on the plate.
Well, that could be a big play. Keeps it a 2-run game. And a fly to center. Marlon Byrd with the catch. And that's the inning. The error does not hurt Zambrano and the Cubs. Ramirez will lead off. 4-2 Florida. The largest selection of official gear, including the latest apparel, nostalgic memorabilia, and authentic classics for the whole family. Get your gear from the official source, the Cubs.com shop. Accept no substitutes. A couple of changes here for the Marlins. Wes Helms, who usually appears late for a pinch hitting appearance, is going to play third base. Jorge Cantu will go across the diamond to first. So Gabby Sanchez is out. And the new pitcher is right-hander Clay Hensley.
Hensley threw 2 innings in the ball game yesterday at Washington. We talked about it earlier in the show. The Marlins are going through one of those stages too with their bullpen. If you get a couple guys out, you suddenly move into that 8th inning slot. You struggle in the 8th inning slot, you move back to an earlier slot in the game. They're just looking for somebody to lead up to their closer.
Hensley had an excellent spring, and he's in the bullpen because of the Nate Robertson acquisition, as Robertson joined their rotation. 0-2 on Ramirez.
Good off-speed breaking ball here from Hensley. A lot of late movement on that pitch. Very tight breaking ball.
It's maybe not fair to include a 20-year-old rookie in this bigger discussion. We saw Hanley Ramirez just totally ignore his third base coach, something we see, a few times a year. The non-hustle play by Castro. Again, he's only in his 4th big league game, but called strike 3 to get Ramirez. Maybe we're more sensitive to this, Bob, now more than ever, but it just seems like we see a lot of mental gaffes. Tim Kirkchin wrote a great column about that, just how many you could write down in any particular major league game.
And really nobody is immune. Every ball club has some issues, some more than others, but you see it on almost a daily basis. And I think some of it is a byproduct of how quickly guys get to the big leagues nowadays. We've talked in the past, they used to say 500 minor league games was a minimum that would be required for you to learn everything about your craft and be ready to go to the major leagues and compete at that level. We're seeing guys come straight out of college to the big leagues. Maybe 1 year of minor league baseball, 2 years of minor league baseball, less than 200 games. And they don't really have the opportunity to learn the nuances and learn how to play winning baseball. They physically have all the skills necessary to play the game, but they haven't learned all the tricks of the trade.
This time Soriano has come up empty. He's 3 for 4 as he grounds out. The one I just don't get is trusting or not trusting your third base coach. Those guys are paid to basically do one thing, and that is find out where the ball is and calculate whether or not the runner coming around third should try to score. And again, Hanley Ramirez is not the first guy to run right through a stop sign.
And he won't be the last.
And he won't be the last. But they are looking right at the play, and you are not. And again, fortunately for the Cubs, he ran through it. Well, that's a quiet 1, 2, 3, 8. We'll go to the 9th. 4-2 Florida. Marmol is in. Pretty sure he'll go into that spot vacated by Soriano.
Getting an inning of work here. The Cubs trail in the 9th inning. I'll tell you, that's one thing as a manager that is a real balancing act. You've got to keep your closer sharp. You've got to make sure he's facing live hitters on a semi-regular basis, and when you're not having those close games late, it's tough to get him in there in those situations, but you still have to pitch him in games like this from time to time just to make sure they're ready tomorrow in case you have a 1-run lead in the 9th.
Paulino with the big blast in this game, a go-ahead 2-run homer in the 7th off Ted Lilly. Way outside on a slider. 2-2. Nasty slide piece. One away. I have to say what I said the other night. Get this guy the ball with the lead in the ninth.
And look at this pitch. All he knows is a step in the bucket hitter. You can see he opens up toward third base and still buckles his knee with that slider in the middle of the plate.
.96 as he painted the outside corner. That's okay. That's a little of that effective wildness. For the most part, his command has been really good this year. Struggled with it last season, but normally got out of it. Two and two.
The thing about Marmol is he's not going to surprise anybody this year. The league has seen him. They've accumulated a lot of video on Carlos Marmol.
Nice job of hitting there by Cody Ross to wait back and take it the other way.
That's a pretty good approach against one of the toughest pitchers to hit in the National League. Slider up and out over the plate. He stayed right on it. Watch his head stay right down the barrel of the bat. Drives it into the opposite field.
Nothing on Carroll with Wes Helms on deck. Pretty good base stealer. Standing next to Cody Ross in his day, Dave Collins, Marlins first base coach. There goes Ross. Here's a throw by Soto. Safe. Somehow he eluded the tag of Castro. Ontario's arguing with second base umpire Mike Riley.
Well, the slide to the outfield side of the bag at second by Cody Ross, very similar to what Brandon Phillips did in Cincinnati yesterday.
Castro was working on his tags and receiving throws from the catcher.
He was in good position that time, had his foot lodged right up against the base, so he knew where he was in relation to the base. Just a real good slide and a good jump by Cody Ross to beat that throw to second base.
Three and one. It's over. Cincinnati beat the Pirates 2-1. Bronson Arroyo over Ross Ohlendorf, who just came off the disabled list. So the Reds are 2 over 500. Ball four. Ronnie Cedeno hit a home run. A losing effort for the Pirates. Washington leads at New York 3-1 in the top of the ninth. Adam Kennedy and Ryan Zimmerman have connected for the Nationals. The Mets are 1 for 12 with runners in scoring position in that game. 1 run on 10 hits. One strike to Helms. Roller coaster season continuing for the Milwaukee Brewers. On their last 3 on a long trip, they come home. They're trailing 7-0 to Atlanta in the 7th. Tommy Hanson, 6 shutout innings. Prado and Gloss with homers for the Braves. One and two. Good matchup in Denver tonight. Phillies and the Rockies. 3-2 Phillies in the 5th. Got it. 95. Knee-high fastball, 2 down.
Experience Cubs baseball from the private comfort of the Bud Light Batter's Eye located in center field. Offering a spectacular view and catered service for groups of 75 to 100, the Bud Light Batter's Eye is a great option for entertaining in Chicago's unpredictable spring weather. The Bud Light Batter's Eye is also available for non-game day functions. To book your date or for more information, visit Cubs.com/suites or call 773-404-4200.
Coghlan fouls into the upper deck. Inside. Dodgers in Arizona. Solo homers. James Loney and Chris Young. Top 3, 1-1. There's the closer, Leo Nunez. Detroit trying to close out the Yankees 5-4. They're in the top of the 9th with Jose Valverde on the mound in Detroit. That's ball 4 and they're loaded. 2 walks in the inning. And Brian Peterson, a rookie outfielder, with a pinch hit for Hensley.
One for 7 on the season, 1 for 2 as a pinch hitter.
Peterson had called up 3 days ago. 1-1. Got a hit in his first major league at bat, a pinch hit appearance against Brian Bruni of the Nationals. 1-2. The final just went final. Boston beat Toronto 7-6 at Fenway. John Lackey to win. A 1-2 pitch just missed. 2-2.
We saw that borderline low strike called a lot in the early going of this ball game, but Bill Miller felt that one was just a little bit too low. All over the plate, but below the knees.
He struck him out. All 3 outs were strikeouts here in the 9th. Bottom of the 9th, last chance for the Cubs. 4-2 Marlins. He's 5 out of 7 in save chances.
Surrendered only 4 base hits in 12 1/3 innings pitched this year, which leads to a opponent's batting average of an even 100. I watched him warm up here before the bottom half of the 9th inning. He didn't throw any breaking balls, any off-speed pitches, all fastballs.
Well, let's see if Starlin Castro can get something going here. Been a rough night for him with 3 errors defensively. Get into a fielder's choice in the 2nd, walked in the 4th, and then intentionally walked in the 6th. Nunez from the stretch. Ball 1. Castro, Fukudome, and Terrio. And hopefully more. Kick and the pitch that missed 2-1. Late on the swing, 2-2.
Fastballs during his warm-ups before the 9th inning, and so far all fastballs to Starlin Castro in this at bat. Tailing sinking action in the low 90s.
This is the 46th hitter he's faced on the season. He's given a measly 4 hits, including only 1 to a righty.
Just need a base runner. Get somebody on there. We've talked about the Marlins defense. They can hiccup with the best of them out there with the gloves as well. Get somebody on base, put some pressure on that defense.
Called strike 3 on the inside corner.
First off-speed pitch of the game for Nunez. It's a changeup. Held high inside part of the plate. All 3rd strikes in this ball game tonight. Three of the 4 strikeouts by the Marlins were called. 5 of the 7 by the Cubs called strike 3.
Fukudome flailed at a changeup. You can throw a changeup on the first pitch to a batter, but he set it up by all the fastballs he threw in warm-ups and mostly to the first hitter of the inning, as you mentioned.
I had a pitching coach tell me one time, never throw a changeup on the first pitch, because what are you changing up from? You haven't given the hitter anything to gauge a speed. But that was back in the day when we didn't have all the videotape and all the scouting reports, and you always wanted to see a pitch from a pitcher that just came into the ball game before you attacked it.
It's 3 in a row to Kosuke, who was standing not 35 feet away trying to gauge his fastball, and that's why he was way out in front of the first pitch.
Throws another changeup. He's getting that elbow underneath that pitch just a little bit and leaving it up in the zone. That could really cost him if he hangs one over the inside part to the wrong hitter.
about that? Nothing but changeups to Fukudome. Sometimes you break a pattern by throwing your, quote, second best pitch, at least what you've shown. And that's what happened in that at bat. My point is, you would think the pattern in that at bat was all changeups, but that's not what the batter thought was coming.
Based on the scouting report that he'd seen, what he saw with his own eyes with Nunez warming up and then pitching to Starlin Castro, I'm sure Fukudome thought he was going to see some fastballs in that at bat, but all straight changeups.
Well, it's down to Terrio trying to keep the Cubs alive. Again, they only need one base runner to put the tying run at the plate. But Nunez has struck out the first two of the inning. Nunez is throwing his changeup more often than he ever has before, according to Fangraphs. Almost 40% of his pitches this year have been changeups. And a bouncer to Cantu. He'll flip. Nunez covering. And for the second straight game, the Cubs lose on a go-ahead homer in the 7th inning. Ronnie Paulino with the big home run. Tough night for rookie Starlin Castro defensively as he committed 3 errors, and the Cubs just continue to struggle to score runs. Only 2 runs tonight.
If you have to take a positive out of this ball game, it was the performance at the plate by Alfonso Soriano. 2 singles and a double, drove in a couple of runs. And Ted Lilly, as I said earlier, I thought he pitched a pretty good ball game tonight. Looked much more comfortable on the mound than he has all year.
The GMC player of the game is Ronnie Paulino. Only home run of the night, just into the basket and left, made it 3-2, and the Marlins would not look back.
Posed an awful long time on a ball that barely made it into the basket, but that's the difference in the ball game tonight.
So the Cubs now a season low or season high, however you want to look at it, 5 below 500 at 14-19. Right back at it tomorrow. That'll do it for our game coverage. Stay tuned for Sylvania Cubs post-game live. The final tonight, the Marlins 4, the Cubs 2. We're right back here tomorrow on Comcast Sportsnet Plus. It's 7 o'clock for Game 2. In-game scoring provided by ScorePad. And now for Bob and our entire crew, this is Len Casper. Good night from Wrigley. Let's send it to Luke and Todd.